In this video, I'm going to show you how to train ChatGPT to write like you. So the first thing we need to do is give it some context and let it know that we're training it to write like you. All right, so here's what that looks like. I said, I'm going to train you to write emails in my style. From now on, we call it the Brittany Long style. Please review the 2 emails below, then use them to create a brand new email about how evergreen email marketing can help their mental health because you have sales coming in. Even when you take time off, you can automate emails and don't feel the need to send them live, especially if you need some space in your business or don't have the mental energy. The call to action in this email should be in the PS, and it's for Evergreen Me, a done-for-you service where the customer fills out a form and then we write their emails for the month. It's very hands-off for them. So we have the email, I show them the subject line, and then the actual content of the email as well. And then I just need to make sure the spacing is correct. I notice that sometimes it's not, so that's why I'm doing that. All right, and let's see what happens. Okay, so subject line isn't great. That's something that needs to be updated, so I'll ask it for some new subject lines. It's also not spacing it like I'd like it to, so I'm going to, when it's done, I'll give it a thumbs down, and then I'll start working with it and show you what to do next. Okay, so I put a thumbs down, and then it popped up and said, what should the answer have been? But I clicked off by accident, so I have to try that again. But by giving it the feedback, it learns faster. So let's go ahead and try it again. This time I'm going to say, let's see. All right, so here's the feedback I gave it. I said, I want you to rewrite the email. This time you're going to use the kind of line spacing I use in the 2 example emails. There should be very few paragraphs because I want the email to be easy to read. If it's in paragraphs, it'll be harder to read, especially on mobile. Please add in more human emotion too. Why is it important to prioritize your mental health? Describe how challenging it is to prioritize your mental health when you have so many other things going on. Describe how you might feel overloaded and give an analogy that illustrates being overloaded and overwhelmed. The second paragraph should be split up like this. That's why I love Evergreen Email Marketing. With Evergreen Email Marketing, you can automate your sales process so that you take time off without feeling like your business is about to implode. You can also schedule your emails in advance so you don't have to worry about sending them live when you don't have the mental energy to do. Because honestly, the last thing you should have to worry about when you need to take time off because you're so stressed, you look like a rubber band about to break, is showing up online to make money. I don't want to talk about Evergreen Me until the PS. My goal for this email is that someone reading it can feel heard and seen. Someone understands how they're feeling and what they're going through. I want Evergreen Me to feel, in the PS, to feel more like a resource instead of a hard sell. This isn't actually a super hard sell, but that's not really what I was looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and ask it to do that. And because I know this is experiencing heavy traffic right now, I'm going to copy this and then I'm going to press enter. So I like this subject line better because it's shorter. It's still not exactly what I'm looking for though, so I'll ask it to create different subject lines when this is done. Okay, so we're getting a little bit closer, but it's still not what I want. So this time I'm going to copy all of this and give it the thumbs down and then give what the ideal answer would have been. So subject line. Okay, so I took it as the base and I made updates. So you can see I'm going to go ahead and submit the feedback. I also copied this just in case it crashes or something like that. Okay, I'm going to say using the feedback, or maybe I'll show it the email again. So I'll say, here's what I would change about what you wrote. All right, so here I told them, here's what I changed about what you wrote. You'll notice it's more chunked up, that I never say sincerely in my emails. My sign-offs are a lot more warm and friendly and caring. I talked about how I was feeling in hopes that it would help them feel like someone understands them. I moved all mention of Evergreen Me to after the PS and focused on offering value and helpful ideas and tips before making the offer in the PS. And then I have the response here. I'm going to save and submit that, and we'll see what happens. So I want to note that it's basically recapping the things that I said here, and then it stopped there, so it's showing me, hopefully, that it understands it. Okay, so next I said, great, it sounds like you understand what I'm looking for. Please try another email in Brittany Long style. This time I want you to write about the reasons they might want to have Evergreen, or might want to Evergreen their social, the pros and cons, the reasons I've done it. I gave them some examples. And then in the PS only, talk about Evergreen Everything, my mastermind that shows clients how to Evergreen everything possible in their business so they can lean into their multi-passionate interests or even take more time off while sales continue to come in. This also includes daily Boxer access. I'm actually going to change that to WhatsApp, I think. Daily WhatsApp access, so they can ask questions whenever they come up. And then I'm also going to mention some of the things that said in here. Okay, so then I said, include anecdotes, make the email relatable and engaging, make sure there are shorter chunks of text, long paragraphs. Now, I could have finished this email already on my own, obviously, because I did that. But the reason I want to train it is because I want to be able to get myself out of as many pieces of my business as possible, where I'm only adding that extra emotion, that extra story, that extra piece, like humanized piece, and then having someone else, in this case AI, help with the rest. Okay, so it started off really strong at the beginning, especially when I talked about when it comes to social media, can try to strike a balance on one hand, on the other hand. So I really like that paragraph, but the rest of it isn't quite where I want to be, but it is closer. I wouldn't say sending you love and light. I know a lot of people like that. It's just not how I would say it. I would say like sending you lots of love, something like that. So I'm going to do the same thing I did before, and I'm going to copy this and give it feedback on what I'm looking for by pressing this, and then I'm going to go ahead and edit it. Now, as I'm editing this, I'm also copy and pasting the email I finished into a document, which means I'm also getting more emails done while I'm doing this and also training at the same time. All right, so I went ahead and edited this, and then I'm going to copy it just like I did for the other one. You'll see how I chunked it up. I gave some ideas and suggestions, and so now I'm going to submit the feedback. And I'm also going to add this email below the next one so that, again, I have 2 new emails out of this as I'm training it. Okay, so I gave it the version that I just did as well. I said, here's what I changed about it. It's telling me what it noticed. You also notice it said this. It makes it feel more like a helpful resource rather than a hard sell, which is something we talked about earlier. It feels more authentic and empathetic. And so now I know when I'm talking to it about what I want, I can say something like, I want an email that's authentic and empathetic. Okay, and my kiddo just woke up, so I'm going to go ahead and ask it to do this. And then I'm going to sign off here so that you can see how this is. Already, I'm liking what I'm seeing. I don't like using the word overwhelming because I think it's overused. So instead, I would say it can be time consuming and add one more thing to your plate or how it would feel. I do like it saying more of the I in here. I think that's helpful. I'll show one more clip after it finishes. All right, so this actually looks really pretty close to what I'm looking for. So this email marketing is one of the most powerful tools for growing your business, but it can also be time consuming and overwhelming. Again, I would change the word overwhelming. That's why I started using AI generated content in my email marketing. Let's see. So I want to talk about it with email marketing, but also with everything. So I like that it has this here. I actually would say it's a game changer for my business, but I would probably add some bullet points here of ways that it's been a game changer for my business. So I wouldn't use the word things. I would say this. And I would expand on this. So by itself, it's not really personalized to your audience. But when you add that human piece of it, that's when the real magic happens. You'll notice that it stopped here. So I added in, please continue writing. It did that. So when this becomes paid, which it looks like it probably will be soonish, when this becomes paid, I'm guessing you'll have a certain amount of words or characters or something like that. And so this would probably be charged for 2 separate things. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know for sure yet. At the time of this recording, it's not something I'm paying for. Let's see. So I like that I use the word daunting instead of overwhelming. I probably wouldn't have said solution for you. That feels very businessy and not so much like you're talking to a human and more like you're talking to somebody that you want to buy from you. With this, and just in general, I'd rather just talk to people like humans. And then if they want to buy, awesome. If not, that's okay too. My main focus is just to be as helpful as possible. And if it makes sense for them to have that offer, then great. It has sending you lots of love. I like that. P.S. Interested in learning more about my AI Copy Club membership, read AI Copy or reply AI Copy. So since this is a $9 membership, I probably wouldn't have it reply. I would probably just put the link. The reason I would want the other one, I was talking about Evergreen Everything, to be reply is because I'm using Tome to show you quick. I'm using Tome to create basically a personalized invitation presentation this is just a filler. I was just trying out some things, but basically this will allow them to go through and find out the information with it being customized, saying their name and being able to take a look at their website, see what they're interested in and stuff before sending this over to them. So that's why, and again, this is just one I was testing out, but that's why I would want them to reply for something that's a little bit more high ticket. That's not just like a $9 one. So that is that. And you know what? I'm pretty satisfied with this. I would say a few things to it. All right, so here's what I asked it. I said, I really like that email. You're getting really close to nailing the Brittany Long style. There are a few minor updates. Please rewrite the email and replace the following words. Thing or things, overwhelming or overwhelmed. Talk more in analogy. What does it overwhelmed feel like? I gave some examples. Or if you don't have an analogy, then use a more descriptive imagery-based word or phrase instead of overwhelmed or overwhelmed. Finally, instead of I have a solution for you, which sounds like I'm talking to a machine, not a human, try saying, if you're ready to get started, there's a really easy, ultra affordable way I can help. All right. All right, so this I really like. Have you ever felt like creating content for your email marketing is like trying to climb a mountain with your bare hands? It can be overwhelming, tiring, and time consuming. So I actually don't mind that it says overwhelming here because it used the analogy first. But if I told you there's a way to make it easier, AI generated content is a game changer for email marketing. I'd want it to add a new paragraph here. It can help you create high quality content in a fraction of the time it would take you to do manually. Plus, it's been proven to increase open rates and engagement. Because it's not new, but more people, because it's becoming more mainstream, I would be hesitant to use the word proven until we have more data. So there's a few things here that I would update, but overall, I really like some of the changes that it's made. And I think if I was to use this, I would still make some updates, but I wouldn't need to make lots of updates. I did like how it had these 3 pieces here. So that's something that seems to be missing from this one. I'd really like it for it to combine the last 2 emails that it's done. I think that would make a really nice email. But overall, this still gives me a starting point, and it's a lot closer than what it was before, which if we look back to the top, just as a reminder, here's what it was before. As a business owner, it's important to prioritize your mental health and well-being when you're constantly trying to keep up with the demands of running a business. It can be hard to take time for yourself. That's where evergreen email marketing comes in. It just feels a lot less emotional. I don't know if that's the right word. A lot less like me, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And it doesn't have the sincerely anymore. We have the PS afterwards now. We're adding in more analogies. So overall, we're getting closer. I will still continue to train this as I go, but it's close enough that I feel really good about it and I can just make some edits. So hope that helped, and I'll talk to you soon.